Hello friends and welcome to Smite Season 4. I figured I wanted to do like build guides and quotation marks for a while. And with Season 4 a lot of stuff changed. There's a lot more items you can build in my opinion, so I figured this is the perfect time to give it a shot. So we're going to just be discussing abilities and build for Amaterasu here super duper quickly. First off, I wanted to just say this is patch 4.1. Stuff is subject to change with different patches, right? Items can get buffed, items can get nerfed. This, might not be... If you're on patch 4.6 right now, build might not work out. Also, I've had a decent amount of time with Season 4. I played, like, PTS and PC before the Xbox came out, so I kind of have an idea of build stuff, but this is still, like... It's still pretty early on into the season, so some of the stuff could be not the best. I just kind of want to give you a direction on, like, what you could be building, stuff to maybe try out and see if you like in Season 4 for warriors. And also, ideally, I want to do this for every warrior and maybe like other solo laners like Ratatasker and Camazot, stuff like that. A lot of stuff is probably going to be similar. A lot of the defense items are good on everyone, just like depends on who you're up against. So if you're watching multiple of these, there might be stuff repeated. Just know that. First thing I'm going to say is just level order for abilities, super quick. I think level 1 you want to get your 2 because Season 3, you're getting your 1 at level 1 a lot of times because you got the extra damage aura for your jungler clearing camps. You're not really going to be clearing camps at level 1. You're going to be in lane, clearing lane stuff. So having the actual lane clear will be helpful. Of course, this is subject to change too because starts are a lot different. If you're going to be in the jungle instead of going to lane, doing, fire imps, blue buff, speed buff, and all that stuff with your jungler, then your 1 might be better. But generally, I would say getting your 2 is the safe bet here. Level 2, you can get either your 2 or your 3. Your 2 would be better, or sorry, your 1 or your 3. Your 1 would be probably what you want to get, ideally. If you're afraid of being pressured by the jungler, though, you might want to get your 3 just for an escape. At level 3, get whatever you didn't get at level 2. Then you're going to be maxing your 2 first. Get a point in your alt. Max out your 2. Then after that, you're going to be maxing out your 1. Get your alt, and then your dash. Alt, dash. So, bam. Just like that. So build. Starting item, you can start with Bluestone or Deathstall. Both of them got buffs. Both of them work on Amaterasu. You'll be auto-attacking the wave to get her passive off. So Deathstall isn't terrible. Bluestone gives you better clear with your 2. You can full clear a level sooner with Bluestone, and you get MP5 from it. Personally, I prefer Bluestone, but you can really go either way. Depends on what you want. You can start with Health Pots and Multi-Pots, or even Health Chalice and Multi-Pots. You don't need Mana Pots anymore on anyone, I don't think, because you have the MP5, from Bluestone. It's not tons of MP5, but it's a little bit. It'll really help out. You don't really need Mana Pots on anyone. You could go Bluestone without Mana Pots on any like high mana based warrior. And probably you're gonna be starting with Teleport. Teleport's like the safe relic to start with. I can't see many situations where other stuff will be better, unless maybe you're looking for an invade. You want to get the slow from Horrific Emblem. You're looking for an early kill with Sunder, stuff like that. Generally, though, I think the safest thing to do is get Teleport. There's not going to be anything else that's like you need to get level 1. Teleport's probably just a safe thing. Pick up your Teleport. Well, bam. You can get to lane whenever you want super fast. Alright. Still building Warrior Tabi. You guess you can build Ninja Tabi if you want, if you're going like more tank speed stuff, but Warrior Tabi is just like the general thing you build. First item. So the way I generally build personally is I'll do, assuming I'm up against a physical character in lane, I'll do my physical defense as my first item and my magical defense as my second item. And if I'm against a magical god, those items will just swap. I'm not going to talk about like which one to do first. It'll just be like, if you're up against magical god, build what I build second first, kind of thing. If that makes sense. The first item, anything from this tree is good, honestly. I don't like breastplate as much this season. Not because breastplate's necessarily a bad item. I lost some physical protection. Got the MP5, which is really nice. But there's so many other items you can get cooldown from that you're going to want to be building. So getting the 20% from breastplate might not be worth it right away. Again, it's still not bad. I just think there's better items later where you can get cooldown, and then you can get good passes from Nemean or Spectral. Nemean obviously still good against a lot of auto attack gods. If you're against a Hunter mid and Hunter ADC, you're probably going to want to be picking this up. Not just because of the passive, but because having 2 Hunters will make Spectral Armor kind of pointless. Now, Spectral Armor is probably my favorite item in this tree now. It's really good against someone like Tyr, Guan Yu, if you're up against like a Thor, Loki, anything like that. The fear is really, really nice to have. It can actually be super helpful. Like, Tyr won't be able to fearless you when this is up. Guan can't Tallow Assault you when this is up. It just works out really well. So ideally, this is going to be my first picked up item. Again, situational, of course. I'll hopefully be picking this up.
I like it.
Excuse me. There's one more item I want to talk about that you can pick up at level is your first item, and that's Gladiator Shield. This is more for, in my opinion, kind of like you don't have enough gold to get like Spectral Armor or Breastplate or High Anemone. You back and you want to have something and you want to fight right away. Either you have a lead and you want to push that lead, or your team wants to go for a Gold Fury or something, or you're behind and you want to, you know, start fighting them to get back into the game and get like a quick power spike. That's when you pick up Gladiator Shield. It has decent stats. You'll be selling this late, most likely. But it has decent stats. It'll give you that like quick power spike right away. The passive is actually pretty good for 1700 gold item. So if you want to get like that quick power spike and like fight really, really quickly, I'd recommend picking up Gladiator Shield over anything with a Breastplate tree. But generally, Breastplate tree is pretty dang good. All these items are pretty dang good. Spectral Armor is probably my favorite. All these items are pretty dang good. All right, so second item. Anything from the Talisman tree is good, right? You get good magical protection. You get health. You can give your team MP5 magical protections. You can stop some healing, and healing is really annoying right now, so Pestilence is always great. Or you can get a lot of crowd control reduction. If you pick up Bulwark second, you're already maxing your CCR, because this also gives you 20%. So any of those items are really good. Personally, though, I prefer the Kasari tree right now. I think all these items are pretty dang good. Oni Hunter's Garb is really good if you're going to be diving the backline a bunch. Again, you get more crowd control reduction, which helps with diving the backline even more. You're against an Anubis, he can't wrap you for as long. You're against an Uller, the stun doesn't last as long, stuff like that. And you're gaining damage mitigation when you dive the back. That's a good item. Genji's is good for your CDR. You get 10% CDR. You also can essentially overcap your CDR because of the passive, because of how it works. You get 40%, and then you also get the passive proc. It's up more often than 40%. But I think Shogun's Kasari is my favorite item in this tree also. This works really, really well on any auto attack gods, any gods who you want to have be getting auto attacks off on. This works good with like Amaterasu, works with Bellona, Osiris, gods like that. Not to mention giving that aura to your team, which helps out a bunch. You get more crowd control reduction. Can't talk today. You're getting crowd control reduction from this item. You're getting cooldown reduction. You're getting MP5 and magical protection. It's just it's loaded with a lot of good stuff that you're going to want to get. And the passive helps out a bunch too. It's obviously more expensive than the other items, so it'll take a little bit longer to build. But I think if you can save up for it, it's pretty worth it in most situations. I would pick up Shoguns when I can. So next up, now this is where it gets interesting, in my opinion. I really like getting Shield of Regrowth on Amma. Now, this item got changed in Season 4, and its stats are kind of ridiculous. You get 300 health, which is a lot of dang health. You get HP 5 and MP5 and 20% cooldown reduction. And you get the passive aura, where every time you heal, you move fast as butts. So let's just test it out for a bit, right? I'm in Speed Aura right now. Look how fast I'm going. Well, bam, Speed Aura, super fast. Switch stances, and I'm just zoom in when the proc comes in. This is like, it makes you super safe. You can get away from almost anything. This makes it so that if you're playing Amma, a lot of the times it'll be, if you're fighting and you're in speed stance, you're trying to get away, you don't want to switch over to damage stance because you're like, oh, well, I'll lose my speed boost, I'll get caught, and all that stuff. This way, you're like, oh man, I'm not moving fast enough. I gotta get away, switch auras, and then speed boost, and you're super safe. It's just a really nice passive to have. I don't think this item's gonna be picked up a bunch by a lot of people, but I think it's just really, really fun to use on something like Amma. Anyone with like a self heal like that, like an Amma, a Guan, Perk, someone like that, I think it's just a really fun item. And I mean, the stats itself are really, really good. You get a lot of health, you get HP 5, you get MP5, you get CDR. Like, there's not much more you could want from a single item. Alright, so after Shield of Regrowth, I'm not even going to say anything else for this item. If you don't want to get Shield of Regrowth, I'll talk about more situational items as like the last slot. You can put one of those items here instead. But I love Shield of Regrowth on Amma right now. It's just super fun. If it's not great, like it may not be the best item, it's just really fun to use and run away from people. Alright, so next, one of the robes would be really good here. Kind of late for High the Urchin. You could have picked up High the Urchin instead of Shield of Regrowth, I suppose, to get the stacks on sooner. Magi's is really good. You get some health, and you get the passive, which is a solid passive. Man of Discord is really good if you're diving the backline. You want to get that stun off, a little bit of CC immunity. Can help out a bunch. Plus, you get a lot of protection, and you max out your your CDR with this. But I think Spirit Robe is probably my favorite here. The passive, again, super good. You're getting hit by any CC abilities. You're getting mitigated. You're getting a lot of mitigations whenever you get hit by CC. You're maxing out your cooldown. You're overcapping CCR, which is kind of crummy, but at the same time, it's like, that's not the worst thing to, you know, overcap. It's not like it's, you know, you're buying this for the CCR. You're buying it for the passive, and you're buying it for the cooldown and the protections. So it's really good. So there's some spots in this build right now already, right, where this will change. Because you have 20% from this. If you built, let's say you built breastplate first item, and then something from the talisman tree here, you built a pestilence because they have healing. And you also went shield of regrowth. In that case, you'll already have maxed out CDR, and it would probably be better to go Magi's here instead of the Spirit Robe. You won't get the mitigation, but having the bubble is honestly really helpful. Not only to not get hit by that first CC ability in a fight, but there's a lot of times when people just won't target you for CC in a fight. You know, Thor goes in the air, he's not going to dunk down on you. Ullr's looking for an axe stun, he's going to like maybe stun your support who's next to you instead of you, giving you more chances to get damage off, because he doesn't want to just waste his ability popping your shell, popping your bubble. So in that case, Magi's would be better. But with this build right here, I get full CDR this way, getting Spirit Robe right here, and I just really like Spirit Robe as an item. It's not too expensive, gives a good amount of protections for both, and again, the passive is one of the stronger passives in the game, in my opinion. Now, last item is super situational. There's like 50 million things you could build here. Pretty much any of the items I already talked about that you didn't build, you could just put in this slot if you wanted to. You could put like anything with the talisman tree if you didn't build that. You want to get a late pestilence, right? You want to get a heart word because your support didn't pick one up. You want to get Nemean because they have a lot of auto attacks. Any of that would work. Personally, I prefer to get something with health, just because I don't have much health in this build right now. It's only all coming from shield of regrowth. A lot of protections, not lots of health. One really good item here is actually Gauntlet of Thebes. Again, lots of health, even more HP 5, and protections for yourself and your entire team of 20, which is actually quite a lot for both magical and physical protections. So it just bumps up your protections even more, gives you lots more health. So that's one thing you can pick up. Also, Stone of Gaia, if there's a lot of knockups, would be helpful. Again, you're probably not going to be getting targeted by all the CC, but just not getting hit by that will help you harass the ADC or the mage in the backline. So Stone of Gaia would be a good pickup if there's a lot of knockups. Again, any of the items we talked about before, anything from the talisman tree, anything from this tree you didn't pick up that you want to get. I'm not too sure about Blackthorn Hammer and Runeforge. I think they could be good. I think that they could be good items. I don't know if Blackthorn Hammer would be good as a last item, because the passive would be good for the 3 seconds subtracted from your abilities. The abilities costing 0 mana would be kind of pointless at this point, because you shouldn't be out of mana anyways, so that shouldn't matter too much. It might be an okay pickup. You get a lot of health from it still, and a little bit of power. So that could work. Runeforge Hammer could work. I haven't really tested out tons, but it's definitely something that, you know, could help. I would think of this item more as someone like Hercules, who's, you know, all of his abilities are CC, or a tier who you're going to be following, you're going to be CCing into damage all the time. What you could do, I think either of those items would work. What else is there? Yeah. You could also pick up, oh, there's one thing. All right. Masamune got changed also. So now you would get the movement speed's good, you get power, you get health, all things that are good to have. And the passive itself, again, if you're diving the backline, if you're going to be on the, you know, on the mage, on the assassin, on the ADC, you're going to be getting more and more protection from this, along with having the power already. I think Masamune would be a good pickup if you're a little bit ahead. You have a lead, you're harassing, you're trying to fight, you have that lead, you want to push the lead and all that stuff. You can get into the backline, you get your protections, you'll have the power, do more damage. It'd be really, really, really helpful. Also, Relic Dagger might be okay. Again, if you're doing what I have right now in the build, you'd be overcapping CDR. And again, I feel like overcapping CDR, I feel terrible doing it. Overcapping CCR, I'm like, it's whatever. If you get movement speed, you get attack speed, you get health. It's all pretty good. I just undid everything. No. Let's put this back in. And then also, Wingblade would be another good pickup if they have a lot of slows. Again, that's gonna be, you'd have so much, like, all these items have CCR. I feel like overcapping CCR isn't terrible. But you get the health, you get the movement speed, you get the attack speed. Movement speed is always good. You'll just be chasing people around all over the place. Attack speed doesn't hurt on someone like Amma, who'll be using auto attacks all the time anyways. And the passive is super good. You won't be able to get slowed. You get slow immunity, switch stances, get your shielded regrowth passive, and you just fly away. But for the most part, I think what I had would probably be like my go-to brainless build. I don't know what to build. I want to just do whatever. I think I like this build from what I've been testing out so far. Again, warrior tabby, just standard. You want to get your boots, you want to get your power. Spectral armor, the passive is really strong, even though it's on a 90-second cooldown. You counter someone like Tyr really hard. You counter someone like Guan really hard. Loki. Anyone who's going to be in your face doing damage all the time, you counter them super hard. Like, it's actually one of the more annoying things to deal with in a team fight when you're going in. When someone dives your backline and you go to like peel for your mage and everyone gets feared. Because it's not just the person who hits you with the ability who gets feared, it's anyone around you gets feared. You could dive onto 3 people, right? And then the Tyr can turn around to try and fearless you out of the way. Everyone on your team gets feared, everyone's going different directions. It just creates chaos and you can, like, you know, capitalize on that. Shogun's Kasari is just really fun. You get the attack speed, you get cooldown reduction, you get crack roll reduction, you get MP5. There's just so many things on this item. There's so many things on this item too. There's just so many things on all these items. They're just so bloated. Not necessarily in the bad way. I don't think they're OP per se, but there's just so many things. You'll have MP5 for days between these two. And yeah, getting the CDR, obviously you want to get it because you're not getting it at your first item. So getting it here is a good thing. You get your protections and give everyone around you attack speed. This would be even better too if you have, you know, a Kali on your team, or Bakasura, an assassin who really, you know, thrives on attack speed. Just give them 15% more. And then if you render ADC also, they'll get attack speed. You have like a soul in middle lane or something, they get attack speed. That's never a bad thing. It'll help you sieging towers when your whole team gets more attack speed. It's just giving your whole team attack speed is a really, really good aura. Then you get your health, you get your HP5, you get your MP5, you get more cooldown, and you get to move super fast. Like, there's not much bad about that. I still don't think people are gonna pick this up very often. I think this is gonna be like, I just don't think it's gonna be very popular, which makes me think maybe it's not gonna be actually a good item, but I just think it's really fun. And I think you should at least give it a try, see what you think about it. Spirit Robe, again, same as Season 3. It's just a really good item. One of the better passives in the game. That mitigation, 50% mitigation is actually huge, especially since a lot of damage is being set up by hard CC. So having that mitigation is really good. Spell on the Thieves, you get a lot of health, you get even more HP5 because then you'll just never die. I have 49 HP5 right now. Like, that's unreal. That's like Xing Chen level HP5. So you get the HP5. You give your whole team 20 protections of both magical and physical, which is just, I mean, it helps out everyone if you're in a team fight. No reason not to pick it up. Again, Gladiator Shield, if you have an early lead or you want to fight early, you want to get that early power spike, I think that's still a good item to pick up. Quickly, I'm going to talk about, I guess, relics to pick up. Almost anything except for, I'd say, Blink, Aegis. I don't think Hog's going to be great, but I'm not sure. You don't want to be picking up Blink or Aegis or Beads. Everything else is really on the table. I think Thorns is my favorite second active right now. It's kind of selfish, I guess, because you're not getting like a sprint or a med for your team. But I think it's really good for, again, diving the backline. Fighting an Anubis or something, you're standing in as like a Locust, pop your Thorns, and you're returning 50% of the damage. Craziness. Craziness. That's for 8 seconds. Once you level it up, which is crazy. Phantom was good against a big knockup team or a Odin. Really, that's really picking it up. Meds coming back. Meds kind of good right now. Usually supports are getting this though, so you probably won't have to worry about getting 2 meds. That'd be just kind of pointless. Shell isn't great until you level it up, I don't think. It's not terrible, it's just not super great. Horrific Emblem is okay if you want to be chasing kills a bunch and you don't want to get sprint. Sunder is kind of good. It's kind of like a little bit BM, but it's kind of good. The other item I really like is Bracer of Undoing. This is kind of the same idea as Thorns. You're playing against like a Poseidon. You want to dive the backline and force out the Kraken. He hits you with the Kraken. You pop your Bracer, and then you get 50% of the health back. Just instantly. That just does away with like the majority of his, burst damage, and you're fine. So it's kind of like Bracer and Thorns are kind of interchangeable for me. They're kind of selfish items, but they really help diving the backline, either returning damage or just making yourself healthier again. Curse, you know, if you get a bunch of healing, you know it's picking up Curse, you want to get that anti-heal on. And Sprint's always a good thing, just to help out your team, but there's probably going to be someone else picking this up. I would think... I feel like supports are usually going med and Sprint, but I guess they could go med and Shell, in which case maybe picking up Sprint would be a bad idea. Again, Thorns and Bracer are just really fun to use. Selfish, but fun to use. So anyways, that's kind of what my idea is here for an ammo build. Again, I try to talk about as much situational stuff as I can, because stuff changes all the time, solo lane. The hard thing about doing these build guides, but hopefully it gave you at least, you know, a little bit of guidance of where to go for builds. Maybe you'll try out the whole super fast shield of regrowth. And I mean, right now we got decent attack speed because of the aura. We got full cooldown. We got lots of physical and magical protection and lots of health. And a lot of HP 5. And a lot of movement speed. And the movement speed's just, you know, even more so when I switch my auras. And just zoom all about. So thank you for joining. Hope you enjoyed. Again, hope this helped you out when it comes to builds. I'll try and do this for every god. It'll probably be pretty similar, but I'll try and talk about each one, you know, a little bit. A tiny little bit. And yeah, take care, everyone.